In Capital News tonight, the government permits 6,000 banned small-scale buyers re-entry at Merani mines with new rules. Boeing sued by Kenyan families for Ethiopian 737 MAX crash. Serengeti boys' game against Uganda tomorrow will not be an easy one. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. The government has finally permitted over 6,000 small-scale buyers who were banned for 5 days from Tanzanite Merani mines in Simanjiro district to enter, giving them rules and new working procedures, including special permits, with the aim of stopping the smuggling of minerals within the area. In a meeting that brought together the buyers and some mine owners to end the issue, the resident commissioner of minerals in Merani, Daudi Ntalima, who announced the new rules on behalf of the government, said the decision was reached after many incidents that showed to be benefiting private individuals and going against the procedures set by the government.
It says that it is prohibited to enter the wall and conduct any activity, which is the reality. This is, after all, a controlled area. Secondly, anyone with a permit or identity card who is allowed to conduct activities inside the wall should be within 50 meters of the wall in and out. Unless it is mining activities which are taking place, the deadline for the completion of the conduction of business in the provided areas, as well as tourists who are inside the wall, is 6 p.m. We lacked respect for our leader, and I still want to tell you that a leader, no matter how short he is, must be given his due respect. We will come with a solution that will favor the government as well as yourselves. But you should be patient. You should also be good people who live and love their country. If you see a person transporting some sort of mineral gem, you should tell him that he's destroying your well-being. You should act as if you are the police. The government itself cannot have police officers as many as you are.
The Minister of State in the Vice President's Office for Environment and Union, January Makamba, when delivering a speech on his ministry's budget, has said that the government is setting up procedures that will force every public and private institution to use alternative energy in their daily activities to prevent the use of charcoal, as well as to reduce tree cutting for energy, causing environmental destruction.
For example, a place like University of Dodoma, it has 30,000 students to feed 3 times a day. Charcoal and wood used to cook the food comes from natural forests. That is one. There are military bases, hospitals, schools, and refugee camps. We shall force institutions that feed more than 300 people to get wood and charcoal from their own farms or use alternative energies.
Au kutumia nishati mbadala.
70% of plastic bags in the country are all imported. How has the government planned to make sure that these bags do not enter the country? In the meantime, as we ban these plastic bags, what materials have we prepared as a substitution? All I see here are just banning statements, but what is the way forward?
The speech from the official opposition camp, despite showing worry in implementation of the ministry's budget due to the small amount allocated, is advised that resolution of union challenges be made clear by involving the public.
Mheshimiwa Spika, ni muda mwafaka sasa kama ambavyo wanazuoni mbalimbali.
Honorable Speaker, it is high time now that scholars of union matters continue to advise the government on union committees to work on the matter sensitively according to expectations of many.
muungano ni issue ambayo inataka kuwa mainstream, whether iko kwenye eneo ambalo taasisi zetu zinafanya kazi kwenye muungano au katika taasisi ambazo sio za muungano.
The Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court has directed the General Secretary of Chadema, Dr. Vincent Mashinyi, to come to court and explain why he failed to attend his own case, which is currently being heard at the court.
Dr. Mashinyi, who is the 6th accused in a case of gathering for an illegal assembly, which is facing not just him but 9 of his fellow Chadema leaders, failed to come to court. The explanation that was given was that Dr. Mashinyi is currently involved in another case which is being contested at the Songea Resident Magistrate Court. Dr. Mashinyi has been instructed to go to the Kisutu Court on April 17th this year because he failed to go to the court while his case was at the stage for the prosecution witnesses to be heard. Dr. Mashinyi and his fellow accused are facing 13 charges, which include conspiring to commit an offense. It is alleged that on February 1st and February 16th in Dar es Salaam last year, Dr. Mashinyi and his fellow accused conspired to gather for an illegal assembly and to reject an official order to disperse. Apart from Dr. Mashinyi, other accused in this case of incitement are Salum Walimu and the Deputy Secretary General for the mainland, who is also the MP for Kibamba, Mr. John Mnyika. The MP for Tarime Rural, John Heche, the MP for Kawe, Halima Mde, the MP for Bunda, Esther Bulaya, the MP for Tarime Urban, Esther Matiko, and the MP for Iringe Urban, Reverend Peter Msigwa, are also the other accused in this case.
Students of Mehiru Primary School in Nanyumbu District in Mtwara region are forced to study in grass huts. This is due to presence of only 2 classrooms, which have also been congested, which has thus affected the quality of education at the school.
If you look at the environment, it is not conducive for education. There are only 2 classrooms that caters for 3 classes in 1 room. Children are packed in 1 class. For example, Standard 4 are 29 in total and Standard 3 are 30. The impacts are high because teachers cannot follow the stipulated timetable simply because 3 teachers cannot teach in 1 class at the same time. Our school environment are poor because we have few classrooms. We have 2 classrooms and 1 teacher's office. I would like to ask for more classes so that we can study well and perform better in the coming examinations. Previously, these schools were formed without being inspected. People would volunteer to build that what they think will be enough for a school and easily acquire licenses and register schools. Those efforts are the ones that have caused us to suffer greatly. While playing our part, we have contributed a lot in construction of more than 53 schools, with more than 43 schools which we found teaching children under the trees.
And more than 400,000 residents of Mwanza City who live in peripheral and high ground areas will soon no longer face the lack of clean and safe water. This problem of the lack of clean water will be resolved after Mwanza Urban Water and Sanitation Authority completed a huge water project which will cost 17.8 billion shillings.
Area. I have been here at this well of water for many hours now. I have left my children in God knows where because I knew that I had to go and look for water. I must say that we are all suffering. Already, I have seen a few of my fellow residents fight one another in this well.
Mandu,
Kisiwani and other areas, as I said earlier, are facing a lack of water because their needs are greater than the source of supply. So now we are installing small pumps, and so far we have installed almost 18 pumps. If you go to most areas, we have installed already small pumps. Therefore, the water services will not be very good this time in several areas. But as a result of the big projects that we are currently working on, the strategic projects, we are going to eliminate the problem completely because we will not be pumping with small pumps but big pipes and big tanks. Currently, we are building a tank with the capacity to contain 2 million liters of water. I would like to urge all residents of Nyamagana not to tamper with or to sabotage any piece of the infrastructure which has been put in place. In addition, I would also like to call upon all residents of Nyamagana not to steal any piece of equipment which will be used to construct the water project. Finally, I would like to call upon all of you.
The Minister for Defence and National Service, Dr. Hussein Mwinyi, has said that the completion of the construction of the National Defence College, that is the NDC, on schedule will boost the reputation of Tanzania, as the college is a state-of-the-art training institution, and its provision of security and safety training to high-ranking army officers from various countries who will be coming to the college in order to undergo army training. Dr. Mwinyi made that statement a short while after laying the foundation stone for the second phase of the construction of the NDC at the TPDF's Kunduchi camp in Dar es Salaam.
This limitation has resulted into many of the would-be participants in the short courses failing to get training slots. This has not only reduced the number of the participants, but has also caused inefficiencies in running of the college. Thus, it was necessary to find ways of addressing the inadequacy of training rooms and accommodation facilities. It is for this reason that the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, through the Tanzania People's Defense Forces, once again requested the government of the People's Republic of China, through the People's Liberation Army, to support the expansion of the National Defense College so as to have more space for lectures, accommodation, and integrated analysis group work.
Extensive military assistance that we have continued to receive from the People's Liberation Army. This invaluable assistance, which includes generous grants and a wide range of technical aid, has been very helpful in our ambition and efforts to modernize our defense force, with a view to increasing both its effectiveness and efficiency. For instance, recently the Chinese government, through People's Liberation Army, handed to us the Comprehensive Training Center at Mapinga in Bagamoyo.
This is the result of our win-win cooperation and through our joint efforts, and we should be very proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, China and Tanzania are stepping up efforts to implement the outcome of FOCAC Beijing Summit. Tomorrow, our embassy, Chinese enterprises in Tanzania, and Tanzania Prime Minister's Office will hold a China-Tanzania high-level dialogue on investment and business environment. I have full confidence in the prospect of pragmatic cooperation between our two countries. China-Tanzania defense cooperation has a long history.
The Speaker of Parliament of Tanzania, Job Ndugai, directed members of Parliament of East African countries to direct their strengths to enabling citizens as well as their governments to increase food production so as to avoid the threat of famine that has continued to occur in the areas.
Ambayo itakuwa inafanya ufuatiliaji wa masuala ya usalama.
A special committee has been formed to follow up on food security As we all know, food issues are quite sensitive because a country cannot be developed economically, socially and politically if it is not having food independence. For example, this year Tanzania faced rain shortages while neighboring countries have enough food. It is obvious that there must be procedures in place to ensure food availability for the rest of the East African countries.
Lazima tuwe na taratibu.
Definitely there are still challenges by a number of countries. So different countries are at different levels depending on the perspectives and challenges that they face.
Matatizo ya kilishe yako mengi.
Many in East and Central African countries are facing challenges of nutrition, differentiating with causes, factors including climate change, which results to drought and cause food shortage, causing children to have malnutrition problems. 34% of children in Tanzania under the age of 5 are facing malnutrition issues.
Wanaozaliwa kuwa wadumavu.
I've reminded them, and I've already, the Secretary General, the Speaker, as the biggest core of wealth creation of our economies in the region, it is based on agriculture, because most of our economies are agro-based.
And that is all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, the families of 3 Kenyans who died in the Ethiopian Airlines crash have sued the company responsible for building the Boeing 737. The lawyer representing the family said that they have sued the company as they are the cause of the accident.
I've never seen a more reckless example of a company putting profit over safety. So the Boeing 737 was basically taking a 50-year-old plane and putting bigger engines on it. And by mounting those bigger engines differently on the wings, this changed the flight characteristics of the plane.
The large opposition party Forum for the large opposition party Forum for Democratic Change, led by a veteran of the government of Uganda, Dr. Kizza Besigye, has announced its stance to call for national protest so as to oppose harassment of President Yoweri Museveni's opposers by police.
I am considering organizing countrywide protests against Public Order Management Act. That is a legal framework intended to curtail the freedom of political actors in this country.
The new president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, has conducted a visit of Beni in Kivu North after concluding his visit in Goma, where he held defense meetings with army leaders to determine how to end the ADF rebels.
There are fightings in forests. The rebels are hiding in the forest. That is why we're all gathering here to plead to a newly elected president to end fightings in Congo and allow his people to enjoy a peaceful life.
When
we are elected by citizens, we get full mandate and power to serve them. But what is difficult right now is security matters, because our aim is to restore peace in the country, but only putting an end to ADF rebels.
And that's all for international news, but do stay with us. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand.
You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Tanzania Revenue Authority TRA has officially banned all cigarettes, liquor, wine, beer and any type of alcoholic beverages that do not have the electronic stamps from being in the market without having the stamps by the 30th of this month.
Nipende kutoa wito kwa wazalishaji, waingizaji, wasambazaji,
I want to call on producers, importers, distributors, sellers and the public who are involved in taxed products to cooperate with TRA to ensure implementation of this system by fulfilling their responsibilities, because receipts which have been issued since 1968 have been banned, and all products from cigarettes and alcohol which does not have electrical stamps and those without stamps will be used until 30th of April 2019.
Ambazo hazina stamp kabisa zitatumika hadi kufikia tarehe 30 Aprili 2019.
Tanzania Bureau of Standards has caught to nationalize over 3 tons of second-hand undergarments caught in an operation conducted by officers of the Bureau at markets in Arusha.
The second-hand undergarments are not allowed in Tanzanian markets. However, in this inspection, we have found some of traders still selling the garments. We have the authority as DBS to remove products which have no quality in the markets, and that is what we have done today. I'm urging the government they should have mercy on us. Some of us are widows, there are orphans doing this business. We are not educated. We have took loans to establish these businesses. Where should we go and what should we do?
The Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries in the country has urged livestock keepers within the country to use modern techniques and to fatten their livestock so they have a certainty of markets as well as good prices. This is due to the recent increase in demand of raw materials after meat and other goods processing companies have been started.
All industries need raw materials to process. However, good quality products from livestock is what is needed. From the experience, we have discovered that there are needs of our livestock keepers to start rearing cattle of good quality. We have received training on proper ways of rearing cattle. It is my hope that we shall be able to use these methods so that we can produce good quality livestock, but Tabora is still lagging behind because the region has no milk processing factory, even other livestock products processing factories.
And that is all for business news. Sports is next.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Sean Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip, the hip, hip, hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang, bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now watch you here.
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette.
With Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Welcome back, and in sports. Serengeti Boys head coach Oscar Mirambo says tomorrow's game against Uganda will not be an easy one, despite the fact that they have already faced Uganda before.
Kwa hiyo hatuifikirii Uganda ya Burundi.
We are not thinking about Uganda of Burundi, nor are we thinking about the Uganda that we played in the zonal qualifiers. The only thing we can speak on is the opportunity we had of watching Uganda when they were playing Angola the other day. That alone is the thing we can consider, and we can maybe put us in a position of neutralizing where they're stronger, while also seeing how we can manipulate their weak areas.
Tunaweza kufanya kwa maana ya kuneutralize sehemu ambazo wanaonekana wana uimara.
The Footballers Association's Butanza chair Musa Kioski believes the Premier League game between Simba and Coastal Union should have been set on another day, as it will affect the passion of Tanzanians in cheering for Serengeti boys who play on the same day, which is tomorrow.
The attendance of fans will be very low, taking into account that these rival matches are the ones which will determine the Premier League champion this year. The attendance will be very low. Time will also be a factor. I've heard that Yanga and Simba will play early at 2 p.m. Now, if the game starts at 2 p.m., it will end at around 3:30. Now, for a person to come from home at 3 to go and watch a match at the National Stadium, it will be a hard thing.
The Los Angeles Clippers rallied from a 31-point deficit to stun the Golden State Warriors 135-131 and tie the series at 1-1.
It's the largest comeback in NBA playoff history after the Warriors led 94-63 with 7 minutes and 31 remaining in the third quarter. Golden State entered the fourth quarter holding a 108-94 lead, but Lou Williams led the furious late comeback in a 36-point, 11-assist effort, while Patrick Beverley continually harassed the Warriors on the defensive end. The Clippers outscored the Warriors 41-23 in the final stanza and took their first lead since early in the first quarter when Landry Shamet's three-pointer dropped through the net with 16.5 seconds left for 133-131 edge. Stephen Curry attempted to answer on the other end, but his three-pointer with 9.3 seconds clanked off the rim. Montrezl Harrell secured the rebound for the Clippers, essentially ending the game.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer called on his strikers to step up as Manchester United look to overcome a 1-0 home defeat to beat Barcelona at the Camp Nou and progress to the Champions League semi-finals, describing doubts on who could provide goals as the $100 million question.
United need to score at least once, with Solskjaer insisting that if it's a game with a lot of goals in it, we have a better chance of going through. But his side registered a single shot on target in the first leg at Old Trafford, and the manager admitted that while the remarkable comeback at the Parc des Princes has given them relief, they will need to play considerably better in Catalonia. Solskjaer's response to United's shortage of goals also suggested that he sees it as a personal problem and a costly one to fix. Alexis Sanchez was among the forwards who travelled to Barcelona, having finally returned after a 6-week layoff with a knee injury.
Lewis Hamilton believes Mercedes will have to operate with maximum effort to maintain a competitive edge in their fight with Ferrari this season, but he expects greater performance advances from his team. Here is more on this.
Ferrari's principal Mattia Binotto, meanwhile, confirmed that they will continue using the team orders which favored Sebastian Vettel on Sunday in Shanghai, where Hamilton won the Chinese Grand Prix. The Englishman secured victory from his teammate Valtteri Bottas, completing a third consecutive Mercedes 1-2. Hamilton leads the world title race by 6 points from Bottas, with Vettel already 31 points behind. Ferrari were expected to have the edge in the opening races, and the strong start by Mercedes appears to have been scored against the head.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to bring you this bulletin, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.